Hello and welcome to Martyn Fiddler Aviation's UK Tax Week. We have Adrian Jones and Greta Kemper, our fabulous specialist tax advisors. So we're presenting 4 bite-sized webinars covering the basics of customs and VAT rules, special customs procedures, common misconceptions, and an insight into different perspectives on why the UK is new tax territory and the benefits of it. So let's crack on. We're going to look at various perspectives and opportunities that the new UK tax area represents. So, Greta, turning to you first, what would be benefits or opportunities for brokers?
Okay, well, focusing on purchases and sales of aircraft. One of the things that you can think about now is that where an aircraft is closed in the UK, where a deal is closed in the UK, normally you would expect VAT, UK VAT to apply to the sale. If the aircraft is non-imported and is in a UK customs warehouse, the UK has enacted a provision to permit that closing to take place without the application of VAT on the sale. That means, for example, that the seller doesn't need to think about whether they need a UK VAT registration in order to account for the VAT. It also means that if you have a series of back-to-back transactions, they can all be sold, all transactions can be completed without the application of VAT, providing the aircraft is within the customs warehouse at that point. So that's a big advantage.
Great. So, Adrian, another key area within aircraft transactions are lawyers and financiers. What are the opportunities presented to them by the new UK tax area?
Well, in a similar way to brokers who can now enjoy the use of customs warehouse to escape VAT and close on the ground in the UK, you find that actually the financiers, the banks and the lawyers are very happy about that opportunity as well, because it allows a mortgage to be applied where that is part of the new purchase of an aircraft. The aircraft situs in the UK leads to greater clarity, I understand, in terms of the applicable law, and therefore to be able to close in the UK and apply a mortgage directly, I think is an advantage, rather than having to fly the aircraft to the UK at some time shortly after closing, for example, in order to do just that.
Thank you, Adrian. So, Greta, coming back to you, aircraft managers, are there any opportunities there?
Yes, well, thinking back to this idea of closing a transaction in the customs warehouse, a UK customs warehouse, one of the big advantages I would say is that if there is significant or specific tech support required, that would be available where the closing happens in the UK. Whereas in some other territories where the relevant tech support might not be available, might not be as good.
Okay, and staying with tech support, what about MROs, maintenance facilities?
Okay, what we explained in an earlier webinar was that there is customs warehouse is essentially for storage. There is another customs special procedure known as inward processing, which is for works and maintenance to be done to aircraft. Both of them are for non-imported aircraft. So, for example, for an MRO, if there is going to be a sale in a customs warehouse, but there needs to be works done to the aircraft, it is possible to switch between the aircraft sitting in a customs warehouse into inward processing where the works can be done, and then back to customs warehousing, either before or after the works, depending on how the deal has been set up.
Great. Adrian, I mean, not everybody thought that this was going to be an opportunity, and there certainly were some concerns by some industry areas. What about aircraft operators, specifically ones that have got an AOC?
Well, for charter operators, this has presented initially some challenges in terms of, say, third country operator approvals and such like. But in terms of customs and the need to re-import aircraft into the other customs territory, so either a UK imported aircraft into the EU or an EU imported aircraft back into the UK, so that charter work can carry on as before. In fact, the rules remain the same in terms of VAT exemption and the ability to import an aircraft without a charge to VAT. And this was one of the very few points in aviation that was covered in the Trade and Cooperation Agreement between the UK and the EU, confirming that no VAT would apply to such imports. So whilst there is the requirement for an administrative procedure, an import declaration to be made to get those aircraft back into the other customs territory or back into the UK, in this case, it is just that. It's no more onerous. So not perfect, but definitely not damaging to the business, if you like.
Okay, Adrian, sticking with you, we wouldn't be in this industry if we didn't have aircraft owners. So are there any opportunities or concerns that aircraft owners have had?
Well, certainly there are some concerns, and I would always recommend that where there are areas of doubt about the import status of an aircraft and the need to re-import into the other jurisdiction, now that we have two customs territories instead of one, I think it's always worth getting advice. But hey, I'm a tax advisor, so maybe you'd expect me to say that anyway. But I think the key point is that in 90% plus of the cases that we've dealt with our clients and new clients that have come to us for help, we've been able to re-import the aircraft where required, or to resolve those import difficulties where you only have one import for two customs territories. We've been able to bring back that other customs territory, to put the owners back where they were before, and to avoid the risk that their aircraft could be assessed or impounded for being improperly flying in one of the other customs territories.
Thank you, Adrian. So Greta, we have received an awful lot of questions on this particular area. But for UK aircraft owners, now that the UK is out of the European Union, how practical and how available is temporary admission to those aircraft owners going back into the EU?
Well, obviously, this is something that wasn't previously available, but for UK aircraft owners, because they are, providing they are not resident or can't be seen to be resident in the EU, and providing they meet the other temporary admission conditions, this is now a potential big advantage that you can look at whether you can use temporary admission in the EU, which of course saves the requirement to import the aircraft and pay import VAT and then try to figure out how you're able to reclaim it.
Thank you very much, Greta. And on that note, that concludes our webinar. Thank you so much for watching. All of our webinars are available on our website, martynfiddler.aero. And if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to contact us. The next webinar is going to be live and audience-led. It is on the 17th of September, and we cannot wait to see you there. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.